I'm Supermoon Tarot, and in today's video, we are going to be finding out what is the truth. Now, I want to keep this super broad. This could be about you and another person. This could be a particular situation. Maybe it's kind of a way you're perceiving yourself or others or whatever. It's just about getting down to the sort of objective perspective on it all in order to give you some closure or clarity, just to feel better. It does not feel good when you're not knowing what is real and not real. Really creates this inner disalignment and harmony when it comes to you being in the flow with yourself and your path and life. That's why people feel so weird when they send some things up with their partner and then their partner's like, no, everything's fine, it's just in your head. And you're like, I feel like it's not though. So we're going to be getting into that. So just keep in mind, this is based on, like I said, circumstance, person, anything like that. We're just like, I need to know what the truth is. We're going to be going over that today. Before I get into that, I want to thank you guys so much. I am absolutely delighted you guys loved my last video on angels so much. It was an absolute delight interviewing the angels, and some of them were very nice. If you've seen the video before, where I drew pictures, because some of them were kind enough to show their true selves. It was just a blast to do, and I wasn't quite sure how you guys would like it, and you do, and I'm very happy because I love doing these spiritual talking videos, and I have many more planned. I'm always willing to do suggestions and questions like I've done with the energy ones and other stuff like that. But one of the ideas I have, and I'm going to propose this question over a couple videos, so if you're not a regular tarot watcher of my channel, that way your question has a higher opportunity of being picked. So essentially, I want to do a video where I answer some spiritual questions. This could be anything from personal experiences to like grander scope things, and it doesn't have to just be your typical questions like about crystals and stuff like that. I'm happy to answer those. I have no problem answering those, but just anything. I mean, throw it out there. If I don't personally know, I will travel to the Akashic Records and get an answer. But when you put that question in the comments below, keep it to more like 1 to 3 sentences. If it's too big, like several paragraphs, it just won't be possible for me to do as many questions answered as I would like. So try to keep your answer condensed, and then you will be more likely to be chosen. But again, it can be personal experience, psychic questions about yourself in general, whatever, the gamut. So put it down in this description below. I will also be repeating this again in other videos, so everyone has a chance to be potentially picked. And if it's popular enough, I would be happy to do multiple videos, just like I'm planning to do multiple Akashic Records videos, as you guys seem to want a series on that too. So I'm very pumped about it. Now back to the truth. As you can see, we have 4 groups in front of us. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to give you a moment to pick the group that you resonate with most. Now that you have, you can go down to the description where you can skip to your designated group, and let's get started with group number 1. Group number 1, let's find out what is the truth by looking at the cards. We've got Page of Pentacles upright, the Empress upright, Ace of Wands upright, and 7 of Wands in reverse. Give me a moment. My spirit guide is telling me some stuff. Okay, let's get into this. So first off, I can see over here in the 7 of Wands in reverse and the Ace of Wands upright, this is associated either to a romantic situation or a career or situation. That's what my spirit guides say. Those are like the heaviest possibilities in this general reading that would be attached to the subject. Now, this is actually the most important interaction going on. This is the potential of what could be, and this is kind of where you're sort of trapped at. So over here in the 7 of Wands, this is sort of the exhaustion you would be feeling. This would be feeling like burnt out, someone kind of pushing you to the point where you just kind of become a doormat because it's too exhausting to kind of push back anymore and defend yourself. Either way, it's this feeling of being held back. This idea gets gets continued over here in the Ace of Wands, as you can see by the hand pulling away the little creature over here, pulling them away and preventing them from getting the better options that are over here. And this is the confirmation that there are better options available, and we will be going over that in one moment. Now, the important thing to understand here is that the reason why there is that pullback is because you were trying to get something better out of this circumstance. So for example, if this is a romantic situation, you're with this other person, but you're kind of starting to find an interest romantically in other people, maybe one person in particular. The importance of the one person in particular is not super important. There is confirmation that there is someone else, and that is a possibility still for you if you want to like keep pushing for it, but I'll explain that generalized concept in a moment. So for other people, this would be a career, and you're kind of looking outside being like, oh, maybe I should get a job over here. I don't know if I'm happy here anymore. Maybe this isn't going to ever fulfill its promises of giving me promotions or taking me where I'd like to get to one day. Either way, it's this feeling of reaching outside. This employer or other romantic person you're with was like, oh, I see you. I don't want you going anywhere else. Pull you back, because they could kind of see this sort of hope and possibility in your eyes. And there was a potential something else you could get outside of this circumstance. Now, I am being told, and this is very awesome to hear, that there is a chance that you can still have this. You don't have to be kind of fully consumed by it, but we'll be going into this in a moment. Where the truth really kind of you would probably be very happy to hear is first of all, they were doing this. They were trying to prevent you. This wasn't in your head. You did sense correctly that there was better options out there. They saw it, and they were on purpose pulling you back. Now, the main reason I am seeing this is because of jealousy. And my spirit guide describes this other person, this could be employer, romantic person again, as energy vampire. That's how they put it. And this essentially means that they are they are sort of disaligned, or maybe they can't sort of connect well with their own energy. My spirit guide says that they are sort of out of alignment with their own, and this is causing them to feel out of sorts, and they can kind of see the very intense power behind you. So this is weirdly a compliment, but compliments don't need to come with troublesome issues too, so we're going to push them away. But they essentially could see the power behind you, the kindness of how they could take advantage of that, and they basically wanted to hold you back to sort of kind of suck that out of you, so to speak. And that's not very fun. I am so sorry that they are trying to wear you out. Now over here is the confirmation between these three card interactions that there was, and it still is, the potential of something better going along. The Empress card is really important to note here, because the way my spirit guide puts this is when you achieve and receive this better option, again, this could be a person or job, this better option would put you in such a higher state of being, such a happier state of being, that the idea of, sometimes when you define your life, you just more define it as being with someone bad, not being with someone bad. Having, an unhealthy habit, not having an unhealthy habit. But when you're really kind of out of that type of thinking, it kind of feels out of this world, because you're no longer trapped in that mindset, and you're more just like, what do you mean have or not have? I'm just totally, I'm in the flow. I'm feeling great. Every day I just wake up and feel amazing. There isn't even a possibility of the idea of something going wrong. That's not how I think. That's not in my stratosphere, and that's not even my options. So not only is it a much happier state of mind of being, but it also shows the promise of like abundance and financial abundance when it comes to a career, romantic abundance. And over here with the Page of Pentacles, that idea gets continued onward, because the Page of Pentacles is all about the idea that right now you'll get kind of sort of little signs. Often when it comes to romantic partners, this would be the confirmation that you'll receive some sort of little gifts, but it's these little things being given to you as an act and token of future investment. So it's saying, right now I'm showing you that I plan to in the long term have this develop. This is getting reconfirmed that this other job opportunity, other romantic partner, has much more longer lasting potential there, and that you can enjoy, and you'll be shown it right away, and you will see it develop if you would like to continue. Because just because you have a great job and another romantic partner, if time goes on and you're like, no, this is great, but I kind of want even more, you can basically. So the opportunity really is sky's the limit here. That's why in the Empress card, it's important to note, my spirit guide says, it's not that this particular person might be the love of your life. They might be, if you feel that, if that's the vibe. It's that the most important thing to understand is that your connection to love will be so absolute and so deep for yourself. There's a lot of confidence behind this card. There's a lot of like really feeling yourself, feeling beautiful within yourself, and able to accept when people are throwing it your way. So no matter kind of what's going on here, again, I'm not saying this couldn't be your soulmate. I don't like to use that terminology unless I have absolute proof, but this other connection, this other person, yeah, I see something bigger going along here. I see at least a couple years going on, and from there we can pull more cards and see if it would continue even longer than that. And same thing with the job. You might love this job, but many people can enjoy their job and after 5 years want to go into an even bigger position, or maybe they want to freelance because that's now their interest. It's very much that idea. So this possibility is still there, my spirit guide's saying. However, they said that you will have to fight. That is how it's described to me. The fighting comes from, like, because this other person is taking so much of your energy and really pulling you down, you are put in a position where you're like, oh my gosh, I don't have any energy to push back. This is safer. I have trouble thinking any other way because they've kind of caught me in this thinking. And every time I slightly am thinking or wanting to try something different, they kind of pull me back into fear. You will overcome this if you push back. But because that is a place where it's really exhausting to come out of, it would feel difficult to push through. It doesn't mean it's going to be this huge, absolutely like fighting brawl situation. Not at all. It's more like, the best way I can describe it, and I hope I don't upset anyone by saying this. Apologies if this is a circumstance you've gone through or seen a loved one gone through, but it's very similar to someone who was once not well in their health, and then they're coming back into a better state of being. It will be harder for them to do certain things than your average person would. So, after they're kind of recovering, it might be hard for them even to go for a walk or get out of bed. It's like that mentality. It's like, you can do it, but it feels really difficult, and it's understandable it feels really difficult. But you got this. You can do this. So yeah, it's not in your head. You did feel that. You did see that. It was out of jealousy and their own disarray in their energy fields. They were trying to suck it out of you. You will no longer be that snack for them anymore. You're going to be somebody else's snack. And there is a lot of good potential still waiting for you if you want it, but you do have to fight for it to get out of this, not fight for this. It's fight to get out of this, and then you can enjoy what is there. So yeah, please let me know in the description below, like, what are you particularly looking forward to? What was the thing that you really wanted, or person or situation you kind of felt more connected to? Talk about it. That can help kind of give you the initial motivation. So if you're kind of needing to find your strength in order to kind of push back and lead you towards the path you'd really like to go to, by expressing out loud and saying like, yeah, this is what I'm excited for. It can kind of like put it into reality. You can reflect and look at that reality and be like, yeah, you're right. I should go for that. I should go be happy. I'm allowed to be that way, and kind of get out of this train of thinking they're trying to keep you in. So I'm wishing you the best. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. And please feel free to give this video a like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell. It helps out the channel like you would not believe. I'm wishing you the best. I'll see you in the next one. And let's get ready for group number 2. Group number 2, let's find out what is the truth by looking at the cards. We've got Temperance in reverse, 2 of Cups upright, the Hermit in reverse, and the Wheel of Fortune upright. Okay, give me a moment to look at these. My spirit guide's telling me some stuff over here. Okay, all right. Okay, so this is predominantly, there's 2 main scenarios I see popping up for, again, this is a general reading, so this is including everyone, but the main 2 I see are, for some people, this is a romantic situation. This is a connection with another person. Hold on, let me ask my spirit guide, can this be friendship? They said yes, but not a lot of scenarios. It's mostly romantic. So if it is a friendship situation, it can be. That is a possibility. But the other one I see is more of a like it's you connecting with other people and your own personal journey and like what you're going through, and you just kind of understanding like, what's happening to me? What's going on? I don't quite understand. We can go over all that. So here, both you're being represented either by you singularly yourself and sort of going out into the world and feeling like you're able to connect to other people and interact and not feeling so alone. And then in other scenarios, this is you and somebody else. Now, obviously, the more comfortable way of being with this other person, and it seems like you guys have more of a history with other people of just easily functioning together. It just seems like there's a lot of equivalent exchanges in love, energy, trust. I can see this is like a happy little relationship going on here. But there seems to have been some disarray. But I have a lot of good news to tell you about, and some things that will give you relief, essentially. So the main problem I see going on over here is in the Temperance card in reverse. Essentially, this is both for people who are singular, it's just about you, and for other people who it's the partner of the other person. They were going through sort of a spiritual upgrade. But spiritual upgrades are not very comfortable. I don't want to freak anyone out when they're going through it, but it's a lot of answers to why you feel confused and sometimes even worse. And this is specifically being expressed through energy. They were going through an energy upgrade. This means they're going to vibrate a lot higher, and they were sort of sorting themselves out. And in order to sort themselves out, this causes a lot of like highs and lows, peaks and valleys, if you will, in emotional response. Because if you've watched my videos about energy, I highly recommend them. I go into depth about talking about how it's a huge perception. It can be confusing to think of our emotions as different from our energy, but if you can believe it or not, a vast majority of the time we are responding both to ourselves and other people about like what we're picking up energetically, and then we have an emotional reaction to it. So their energy was sort of going up and down, and again, if this is about you, your energy was going up and down. You were sad and then happy, and then you felt amazing, and then you felt worse, and then it was off. Well, this was your energy system sort of upgrading, or their energy system upgrading and sorting itself out. And because this sorting needed to happen, there needed to be isolation. I can see this over here in the Hermit card. Now, for you, if you're singular, you're like, oh man, I don't know why I don't want to be around people. Is there something wrong with me? Maybe this is like a symptom of something else. No, not at all. When we are becoming more spiritual, it's super common to not feel like we can connect to others who are not on that sort of plane of existence. We also often need some time to ourselves to not only feel better and feel more organized and, whatever, but it just, when you don't feel like you want to talk, follow that, that desire, that whim, if you will. You're listening to your inner compass and intuition correctly, and you're just kind of getting acclimated to everything, and so it can run smoothly again, and you can feel more comfortable and adjusted to the new energetic way you are, in harmony to yourself and the universe. This is the same thing for this other person. So it really wasn't personal. If this was your partner, they just needed some time. They didn't know how to put into the words. They weren't fully aware that it was a spiritual upgrade. They just knew something was off, and they sort of needed to take care of themselves. It had nothing to do with you. That's really truth. When they say that, that is true. They weren't seeing anybody else. They weren't having more fun without you. They were just taking some time. And for yourself, this is for singular, and for this other partner, this is I'm happy to say, the going into, you will be now coming out of that zone and re-interacting with society, a more elevated person. And you're going to notice the changes are going to be really unique. Not only are you going to feel better than ever, but sometimes when we feel better than ever, it makes us a little too self-aware. And when we start to sort of see behind the veil, if you will, and feel things a little more intensely, it can easily get overwhelming, or you might think that something's wrong when it's not. And that's important. And that's the next thing I want to discuss, because this is super important. I cannot stress this enough. I see people all the time spiritually upgrade and then kind of crumble and get confused in between. And I don't want that for you or your partner. I want this to be as relaxing as possible for them. So over here in the Wheel of Fortune, again, this is talking about how things are going to continue to get better and better. A lot of good luck, a lot of things just working out in you and your partner's favor. And again, this is for you singular too. I'm just going to stop saying that. You know what I'm saying. I'm referring to both these people situations. And so there's just a lot of good luck, everything working your way, getting a lot of free things just at the last minute seeming to work out in your favor. It's going to be awesome. However, the universe is not done teaching you a sort of little lesson in a good way. So when we are in the flow of things, and you guys seemed super interested in me making a video about being in the flow, I'm happy to. I will totally make a video on that. Being in the flow is a actual energetic wave you can hop onto and feel, and it's a thing. It's not just like loosey-goosey in the air. I don't know when I am, when I'm not. We can get into depths about what that specifically means in another video, but the point is, it's like, imagine a line, like a guitar string, amongst a lot of other guitar strings and options. And when we look at these potential dangerous options around you, see these they could have hit him at any moment, but they missed him. It's going to feel like things are working out, but maybe you just miss a car. Something almost happened, and it can kind of quake you a little bit. This is the universe saying, do not look anywhere else other than your personal flow. When you're in your personal flow, it doesn't matter how close these other potential bad luck, danger, whatever seem, they will not touch you as long as in your flow. And you do not need the comfort of being like, I'm in my flow and all around me also has to be that way. I'm not saying it can't be that way where, you feel like your best self, you're having a great day, you're feeling happy, and also everything around you goes great too. That's also another scenario and option in life, of course. But sometimes the universe wants you, in order for you to solidify this new spiritual upgrade, feel more self-aware of when you're in the current and the flow of yourself in the universe and feeling like you know what you're doing with your life and feeling confident and happy and sure of yourself and you're in it. In order to stay there, you need to not be shaken and be then emotionally triggered and then start to think, well, that could have happened. I will now feed a fear and create a possibility in my mind that it could happen to me. It's about going, yeah, but it didn't. See, as long as you're focused on you, as long as you feel good, that stuff cannot touch you. So as they feel good and and all this good stuff's coming their way, you will notice some little things slightly come near you. It's not going to get you. You're going to be good. You're going to be safe. But don't let it consume you in the moment or make you almost, the best way I can explain it is, imagine there's a path, and when these things, think of like boulders falling down a hill as you're driving down a street. When you feel that's coming and you're like, oh my God, that was right next to me, it can make the little stretch of road you're on feel almost more narrow. It can feel like that. Don't think of it in that way. Just pull back, breathe, and be like, yep, but it didn't get me, and it won't, because I'm on my path. No worries, just doing my thing. See how it didn't get me? Proof, I'm on my path. Everything's going great. So enjoy, get excited about that. Just understand that for this other person, it really was not personal. It's actually really cool. They were going through an upgrade. For you, if you felt like something was off, it was actually getting even better. Nothing was off. It felt off, because you're now a new version of you and you have to get used to that. And enjoy all this good stuff coming your way, this realignment with other people, realignment with your partner, that is happening. It's all gonna just kind of go up from here, and I'm really excited for you guys. But yeah, just don't get consumed by sort of the life lesson you're learning. The cool thing about this life lesson is it does not involve anything actually bad happening. Sometimes things happen and it's frustrating, but you learn the lesson. You know what I mean? Nothing like that's going to happen. So I cannot stress that enough. Anyways, please let me know in the comments below, to help educate other people with your own personal circumstances, if you're comfortable. What was it like for you or your other partner experiencing them going up and down? What was that like emotionally or personally to experience, so people could kind of witness the signs and be like, maybe what seems like disarray is actually an upgrade. Okay. So anyways, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell. It helps out like you would not believe. I look forward to seeing you in the next one, and let's get ready for group number 3. Group number 3. Let's find out what is the truth by looking at the cards. We have Knight of Pentacles in reverse, Three of Cups in reverse, Six of Pentacles upright, and Four of Wands in reverse. Give me a moment to look at this because it is being read not in chronological order, and I'm just listening to my spirit guide right now. Okay, so I'm very excited because the scenario I'm seeing is not a fun one, and you definitely are reading the situation correctly. I'm excited to talk about that, and I actually have some solutions and positive news on the horizon, which we always love when we can potentially have that brought to us in the reading. That's not always the case. It's not always the most important information that needs to come forth, but I'm happy to say that is. So the main important scenarios I see popping up are over here in the Three of Cups in reverse and the Four of Wands in reverse. Both of these are related. In the Three of Cups in reverse, normally I can get very specific and be like, this is a friend group, this is this. But my spirit guide said this is a huge gamut of scenarios and people. It's more important that you connect to the concept of how they treated you, but this could be anything from family to friends to romantic partner to coworkers, anything. It's pretty big, so your situation most likely is included in here. Anyways, this is a group of people that kind of made you feel good, you wanted to be a part of it, they were cool, it was whatever, you were interested, and they sort of kind of used you and then ditched you to the side, and it was not a fun feeling. It definitely shook you, and I can see that structure being shook over here in the Four of Wands, but this is really important to get some other information that you'll want to hear about. So let's first focus on this. This will make you feel good. This is nothing personal. They didn't directly try to target you. This is something they normally do, and they, kind of approach new people kind of regularly. They sort of live in another world, so initially it feels exciting. The best way I can describe it is here you are being expressed here, here, and here, and in all of these scenarios there is a sense of ground. You have your feet on the ground. This is the planet you are living on, so to speak. And over here they are in the celestial stars. It's so cool. It's dreamy. It's different than where I'm at. And while that is so fun and awesome and is not necessarily a bad thing to achieve in your own personal life, it is just not where you're sort of meant to fly and be. It doesn't really have an endpoint, a beginning. You start to realize it doesn't really have any clear-cut example of what's good and bad or fun or start or begin, and you start to kind of feel just as lost and confused as really they are, because that's definitely the vibes I'm picking up. That usually happens when somebody is not really clear in their life and goals. It can often lead to them wanting to chase personal gratification, instant personal gratification. And when we have instant personal gratification, it ends up leading to us basically they don't have the best morals and ethics and the best values right now. So this is what's caused them to treat you this way. And honestly, they're not going to stop anytime soon with their just general actions with everyone else. So that wasn't fun to experience. I can see how that's sort of shooken you to the core when we have the Four of Wands in reverse. This not only talks about a lack of structure, but specifically my spirit guide says it's a lack of structure in your energy field. So if you've seen my 2 videos on energy, I highly recommend it. I went into a lot of depth explaining how important energy is, that we all have it, whether we're kind of consciously aware of it or able to feel it or not. But this is something really interesting. The best way I can explain it is think of yourself as a waving guitar string amongst many. And in each and every one of us, we have a specific frequency vibration that is tailor-cut hours that we normally kind of flow into. And when we feel off, and this can be in the form of disliking ourselves, especially physically, what will happen is our body is trying to make us happy by kind of rearranging and making us sort of be in alignment with another guitar string or frequency vibration. But the problem is you only have one. That's the one you're in. So it will hop around and bounce around from frequency to frequency, trying to find the right place for it to be. And this sort of misalignment with your energy field will cause you kind of it will often come out in physical ways. There is the potential to either gain or lose weight here. Maybe acne, maybe something physical is kind of being shown, and it's sort of an example that you're trying to show yourself. We're often communicating with the universe, and the universe is communicating with us. It's like your inner compass trying to say to yourself, something's wrong here. They're messing with me. I don't feel like myself when I'm with them. So all of that makes sense when we talk about how they don't really have a clear grounding to stand on, and this is why they treated you this way, and this is why they are the way they are. It's not personal, it's just who they are. And then we can see how when this is affecting you, how much it affects you. Now, over here in the Six of Pentacles, I am being told by my spirit guide and by this card itself, the sort of solution here is to go out of your way to still be interactive with others. Again, this can be a romantic partner, other coworkers, whatever, but it's anyone else besides them. So it's not the time to close off. And normally the Six of Pentacles talks about the idea of generosity. We're not talking about that. We're just talking about generally talking to them. Maybe you go and hang out for a little bit, whatever that may be. But it's just not closing yourself off from the world because you feel off, but realigning yourself by realizing when you interact with any other human being, it's good. It will be nice. It'll be a fun time. It will make you realize, oh wait, this is just them. It will help you get realigned with your energy fields. You'll feel better. You'll feel better physically and all that jazz. I can see in this card that there will be jealousy on their end as they notice you're giving your attention and sort of not really taking on the intensity they've tried to transfer to you. In the energy videos, I do talk about returning other people's energy back to sender. That's really important so it doesn't affect you. But in this case or scenario, just by continuing to interact with others in any way you choose to, you're going to be really happy with how it kind of gets you back to set. Now that jealousy mostly will not, it will kind of be an eye looking over at you. Maybe they might text you. My spirit guide says that would be a very small percentage of you watching that they might even interact with you and be like, hey, what are you doing? But don't interact with them. Don't talk with them. Let them fall to the wayside. For the most part, they'll leave you alone. And I'm really happy to say that there's also good stuff on the horizon past this point of just feeling more realigned and out of this scenario. I can see over here in the Knight of Pentacles. Knight of Pentacles is something where it's like you're doing something worthwhile. You feel like it's for the greater good, for you, for society, but it doesn't have to be about helping other people. It's more of a mentality of like, you feel like you're doing the right thing for you. You feel happy and sure of yourself and feel like you're doing something worth meaningful. So it seems like there's something completely opposite going on from this sort of, scenario and the type of vibes these people are putting out and where you're headed right around the corner, which I'm really happy to say for the vast majority of you. Some of you, it's right around the corner, and for some of you, it's like maybe a little more time, not that much more time, just a little more time. But I'm excited to say this also leads to other better things. I mean, this could potentially be a new job. Maybe this is interacting with a new romantic partner, but it just feels like you will be moving out of the scenario feeling a lot better and more sure of yourself. So I'm excited for you because yes, you did read that correctly in the sense that they weren't good people. But the part that you might have not fully been aware of or given yourself enough credit for is that you did nothing wrong. It wasn't personal. You were feeling something off within you because they were off. You were sort of like picking off their offness, so to speak. But yeah, you're good to go, and you can kind of kiss them goodbye out of your life and enjoy what you have to look forward to. So please let me know in the comments below. How are you going to get away from them? Who are you going to interact with first? Or what are you looking forward to on the horizon that's worthwhile? Is there, maybe they've kind of pulled you away from more taking care of, like, you just kind of are stuck in a situation where you're taking care of the baseline needs and you want to think about, yeah, I forgot. I really wanted to look forward towards a career that I totally stopped thinking about that, or maybe a hobby or the idea of true love. Like, where are you focusing your energy on and what you want to put your attention towards? I'd love to know in the descriptions below because I'm always curious at where people are at different times in their life. As always, please leave this video a like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell. It helps out like you would not believe. I'm wishing you the best, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Let's get ready for the final group number 4. Group number 4, let's find out what is the truth by looking at the cards. Let's see. We've got Queen of Cups upright, the World card in reverse, the High Priestess in reverse, and the Hangman in reverse. Okay, give me a moment to look at this. Oh, we have another spirit guide here. Oh, I love this. Oh, I'm excited. Okay, cool. Let me just look at everything. Okay, I'm ready to go. So this is interesting. It is a bit vague. I don't really love to be vague, but we're going over the most important information. So this is how it's coming out. So first off, with the High Priestess being in reverse, this is telling me that unfortunately you were not seeing the situation correctly. I'm not quite sure what that means. That could be anything from choices you've made. Maybe you thought it was rough and it wasn't rough. It was easy, it was not easy. Whatever it is, it just seems like things felt off and you weren't perceiving it correctly. Now, I do have some good news about that, though. This is nothing to beat yourself up over. Based on both the Hangman and also, I'm really happy to say, Bat showed up. Yes, you can have animal spirit guides. They are either referred to as the simplistic term of their name, or they can be described as the entire consciousness of that entire species. So there'd be like mother bat or bat. Bat showed up. I'm really happy to say to talk about what was going on in the High Priestess card. So with the Hangman in reverse, I can see that you were forced into a position to prematurely act when you were maybe not fully healed, fully ready. It was not a comfortable situation to be put in. I can see the result of that with these not very fun faces going on over here, the sort of chaos going on in the background. You were pushed out there when you weren't ready, and you've kind of, I don't want to say dealt with the repercussions, because I want to make it absolutely clear that this isn't a wrong choice you made, but like you just had to do. This is just the timing of the universe and the way it was. Now, the reason why you weren't seeing things correctly and it felt off, and you were just doing the best you could, you did not, I'm happy to report, did not lose any sort of intuition. There's nothing off in you that way. So what Bat said was, they said sometimes there's points in your life where you just kind of have to act, and it isn't about intuition. You just are told to do something and you just have to do that thing, and there's no intuition incorporated in it. So the way they expressed it was that as a bat, they can use their sonar. It's like the perfect example of intuition. They are meant to go into the dark, or AKA the unknown of not knowing what's next. This is very intuition based. It's seeing in a different way. And they can depend on their sonar, a totally different way of seeing. And yet they can see. It's just not with their eyes. It's in a totally different way, as we just expressed. But in this case, if you notice in reverse, they have not taken off, and they're not in the right direction to take off. That's normally, it's actually not a myth, they normally hang upside down. And the bat said, Bat said, basically like it was just not the right time for sort of me or intuition to be used in this case or scenario. So you did what you had to do, you were thrust into a position, you acted the way you needed to interact, you did nothing wrong. The quote-unquote lack of connecting to your intuition was not because you lost it, or then the lack of connecting and seeing it properly then caused this. Not at all. That's just, and when I say this, I'm referring to the not fun results of the situation. You did nothing wrong, essentially. You're good to go. You weren't necessarily seeing it the best at that time, but here's the reasons why. And the main thing is you need to understand from this is just that you needed to focus on, being hands-on, dealing with what you had to deal with in the moment, kind of getting through the hurdle of all of this. Now, this sort of disalignment within yourself, being like, man, I feel like something's off, I'm trying to understand, I'm trying to get the greater scope, trying to connect to your intuition despite what the circumstances are throwing off on you, is what we have over here in the World card in reverse. Now, I'm happy to say I've got great positive news what's going on over here in the Queen of Cups, but the World card in reverse is very important, where we're trying to kind of get you headed and put into this position. So the World card, my spirit guide says, is anything from like getting the career, getting the, romantic partner, whatever. It's super vague, and the better way to describe what I'm picking up from this particular card in this particular scenario is this idea of the end of a chapter of a part of your life. And the best way to describe this is like, when you're kind of stuck in your life checking social media every day, and it's so your norm, you're kind of caught up in it, maybe it emotionally upsets you, whatever the situation is. And then one day, for whatever reason, you stop doing it and you kind of get out of that swing of things. And then you look back a couple months later, you're like, whoa, I'm a totally different person. I don't even view things that way anymore. Like, wow, that was really a time in my life, and that was a scenario. I don't do that anymore. Or maybe you watch a lot of, TV, and you just don't do that anymore. I mean, we're not talking about good and bad, healthy or unhealthy. That's not the scenario I want to put out there. It's just the idea that this part of yourself, this way of acting in life, needs to come to an end. That end can involve anything, like I said, from getting a job to just no longer performing the certain things that caused you to be thrusted in this position, whatever it may be. But there is a conclusion that is needed. Now, I'm happy to say that conclusion this is super vague, but it's a vagueness I think you'll be happy with. What I'm picking up that is on the other end of this conclusion is that whatever happens, you will be extremely happy with the results. So, I like this vagueness because what's important to understand is, like, let's say you wanted to get a job, you're trying to seek this particular job out and you don't get it. Now you're no longer going to seek that type of job, that part of your life is over, but you end up looking back and going, you know what? I don't think I even want this job. I actually realized what I really want to do or where I really want to work. And you'll end up in the end being happy, but we don't always get what we think we want, but we always get what we need, which is really beautiful. So you're going to be really happy in the end with whatever you receive. But when the World card is in reverse, there's sort of a kind of a stutter to the conclusion. We're almost there, but something's preventing it from reaching its end point. So the main thing you're going to focus on here is, first of all, not beating yourself up that you feel like you're not seeing things correctly, your intuition is not in a way you feel like you're totally aligned with it. Remember, it's not out of alignment. It's about going, right now, my intuition is there, but what is needed is for me to just deal with what is in front of me, hands on. I'm going to deal with it. I'm going to give it my full focus and attention. And once I put that focus and attention there and do what people need me to ask, I'm going to get through this hump, this uncomfortable timing of scenarios and get through it. And then my intuition kicks on. I get the World card upright, which gives you the conclusion of this end you'll be happy with, and then this is what then leads us to the Queen of Cups. The reason why I'm so happy you got the Queen of Cups is, again, a very vague card in this scenario, but nonetheless a very important one. So something that people don't really think about, well, I don't hear them talk about, they could think about it, I'm not in their heads, but a scenario that I hear a lot of people talk about that I think gives people a lot of happiness is when you feel like we're within the flow of the universe. Which, by the way, I heard in another one of my videos, you guys would really like me to talk about that. Yes, I will totally make a video about being in the flow and how to get in the flow and all that positive jazz. I would be happy to. It's like one of my favorite subjects. But being in the flow, when we have a Queen of Cups scenario, is she does not view the world as the next award she's going to get. She still receives them. She still receives good things and good conclusions, but to her, it's all kind of one beautiful giant, shoreline. She doesn't count it by singular waves, but the ups and downs, and she just kind of is very comfortable. She's in the flow of it all. She doesn't take anything too personally. Nothing gets her too upset. She's happy with who she is, and she's just kind of totally comfortable and confident within herself. That's the best way I would like to explain the flow. The flow is feeling like every choice you make is the right choice, which is a totally different circumstance than where you were at and how you were feeling, which is so interesting. I noticed that a lot. It's almost like the universe giving you a lesson through contrast, not as a form of punishment, but more of a like, once you make it through this and then you feel in the flow, you're like, man, I know what it feels like to be in it, and I know what it feels like to be out of it. So because I do, I will always be able to understand when I feel like I'm in it or not. Now, when you are in the flow, this is when you feel totally in alignment with the universe and where you're at in life. There's a lot of happiness and contentment with this feeling. So I'm really excited that all these like good things are around the corner for you. But for now, just do what you got to do to get through it, to meet this end, to meet this closure. You will be really happy that it will come to an ending, and do not beat yourself up. You did nothing wrong. It was just sort of a timing of events, a little bit of a, sorry about that, life lesson you were sort of going through. Nothing's wrong with your intuition. It's just what it is, and you'll get through this, and there's a lot of good things coming around the corner. So if you enjoyed this video, please let me know in the comments below, how do you feel? Like, what are the signs to you when you feel like you're in the flow? Or what are the signs when you feel out of the flow? Because knowing by contrast is everything. There's not one way of taking in information or knowledge. Even bad times or uncomfortable times have a lot of great knowledge in there. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please consider giving it a like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell. It helps out like you would not believe. I am wishing you the best, and I will see you in the next one.